Not every company believes in making the loudest announcement. Some prefer to let their products do the talking, and Honda has followed that approach once again by bringing back the Prelude. At a time when almost every car brand is focused on EVs, Honda has chosen a different path with a petrol hybrid sports coupe. Many people thought the Prelude was gone for good, but Honda has brought it back in a way that has caught the attention of the entire auto industry. Instead of chasing trends, the company has stayed focused on its own philosophy. The Prelude has already been launched in Japan, and Honda is now preparing to introduce it to global markets. This is not a car built just to follow the latest trend. It is made for people who enjoy the real feeling of driving and appreciate a well-balanced car. What makes the Prelude special is not only its features or specifications, but the thinking behind the way Honda has designed it. That is why ignoring this car could be a mistake. The big question is, what kind of engine technology has Honda used in the new Prelude, and can it really stand against companies like Tesla, BYD, and Toyota? In this video, we will understand what makes the Honda Prelude different, what Honda is trying to achieve with it, and why many big car companies are paying close attention. Before we move ahead, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss videos like this. Before we talk about Honda's new car, it's important to understand how big Honda really is and how strong its presence is around the world. Because the real value of any new vehicle becomes clear only when you know the company standing behind it. Honda is not a small or newly established brand. It is one of those few automobile companies that people recognize almost everywhere in the world. And Honda is not limited to making cars. The company also builds motorcycles, scooters, power equipment, jet engines, and even aircraft. That is why its global reach is much bigger than many people think. If we look only at cars, Honda sells around 4 to 4.5 million vehicles every year across different countries. The number changes a little depending on market conditions, but even then, Honda easily remains one of the world's biggest automobile companies. Honda's biggest market is still North America, especially the United States. In America, people know Honda for making reliable cars that last for years and don't cost much to maintain. Models like the Accord, Civic, and CR-V have stayed among the most popular choices for a long time. For many buyers, Honda is not just another car brand. It is a name they trust. Back in Japan, Honda also has a very strong position. People there see it as a homegrown company that builds practical cars for daily use with more focus on reliability than showing off. Across Asia, Honda is also growing in countries where petrol and hybrid vehicles are still in high demand. In markets like India, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam, Honda has built a strong name through both its bikes and cars. In India, Honda may not launch as many cars as some rivals, but models like the City and Amaze have helped the company build a reputation for quality and dependability. At the same time, countries in Southeast Asia continue to buy more Honda vehicles because many customers there still prefer petrol and hybrid models over fully electric ones. Honda follows a different strategy in Europe. Instead of launching many different models, the company pays more attention to quality, technology, and driving experience. Every model is designed with fuel efficiency, strict emission rules, and balanced performance in mind. That is one of the main reasons Honda is slowly strengthening its position in Europe through its hybrid technology. Looking at the global picture, Honda's greatest strength is its balance. While some companies are putting all their eggs in the EV basket, Honda is still working on petrol, hybrid, and EV technologies, all three. This means that Honda isn't limiting itself to a single trend, but is instead designing vehicles to meet the needs of each market. This approach is helping Honda expand rapidly in countries where charging infrastructure is not yet fully developed. Another major advantage for Honda is its history of reliability. Many people consider Honda a buy-it-once, drive-it-for-years kind of company. This is why when Honda introduces a new car or brings back an old nameplate, people take notice. The market knows that Honda doesn't make hasty decisions. When it comes to the return of the Prelude name, it would be a huge mistake to simply dismiss it as just another old car being relaunched. For Honda, the Prelude was never just a model. It represented their driving philosophy, their engineering ethos, and a reminder of an era when cars were built not just for mileage or technology, but for the sheer joy of driving. At a time when every company is chasing futuristic names, strange alphanumeric codes, and buzzwords like EVs, Honda has deliberately chosen a name that people had almost forgotten. When the Prelude name first appeared, it was associated with cars that created a direct connection between the driver and the vehicle. No excessively heavy body, no overly soft suspension, and no engine designed solely to deliver impressive numbers on paper. Now, the question arises, why didn't Honda choose a new name? The answer is simple. Because a new name can only attract attention, but it can't build trust. The Prelude name carries a legacy. Another crucial point is that the Prelude name gives Honda the opportunity to give its new technology and identity. If this car had come with a completely new name, people would have simply dismissed it as just another new hybrid car. But the name Prelude immediately grabs the attention of old Honda fans. They sense that there's something more to it than just mileage or battery life. Through this name, Honda is assuring them that even though the technology has changed, the driving DNA remains the same. What's so special about the Prelude's engine technology? When people talk about the Prelude's engine technology, most simply think it's just another hybrid. But the real story is far deeper and more interesting. The hybrid system that Honda has incorporated in the Prelude is not just for increasing mileage or reducing emissions, but for making driving easier, smoother, and more natural. Honda has worked on the principle that the driver shouldn't even realize how much technology is working behind the scenes while driving. The Prelude's hybrid setup isn't one where both the engine and motor are working at full power all the time. The real magic lies in its intelligence. When you start the car or drive slowly in traffic, the electric motor does most of the work. At this time, the petrol engine is either off or running at a very light load. The advantage of this is that the car is completely silent when driving in the city. There are no jerks, and less fuel is consumed. The driver feels that the car is moving effortlessly. As soon as you demand a little faster acceleration, say to overtake or increase speed on the highway, the system automatically activates the petrol engine. But here too, Honda's approach is different. The engine doesn't suddenly kick in, but works very smoothly in conjunction with the motor. The driver doesn't feel that now the engine is on, now the motor is off. Everything flows seamlessly. This is why the Prelude never feels heavy or sluggish while driving. A major feature of this hybrid system is that the engine always does what it does best. Sometimes, instead of directly powering the wheels, the engine only generates electricity. That is, the petrol engine acts like a generator, and that electricity is supplied to the motor, which drives the wheels. This prevents unnecessary strain on the engine and maintains its efficiency. This is especially useful when the car is running at a constant speed or on a slight incline. Now, if you are driving at a consistently high speed on the highway, the system changes again. At that time, the petrol engine starts powering the wheels directly because the engine is more efficient at maintaining a constant speed for a long period. The motor then goes into a support role, meaning providing a little extra power when needed, or maintaining smoothness. The driver simply feels that the car is running smoothly without any noise or effort. The biggest advantage of this entire system for the driver is that they don't have to manage anything. No tension about changing modes. No need to think about whether to drive in EV mode or on petrol. The Prelude understands on its own what is best in each situation. This is Honda's true philosophy. Technology should work for the driver, not the other way around. Another major advantage is that the battery in this hybrid setup is not very large. This means that the car's weight doesn't increase unnecessarily, and the driving balance is maintained. People often complain that EV cars feel heavy due to the battery. This is not the case with the Prelude. Therefore, the car remains under control on turns. The steering feels light and responsive, and the driver gets the confidence that the car is responding to their commands. When it comes to mileage, Honda hasn't made any exaggerated claims here either. The Prelude's hybrid system is tuned in such a way that fuel consumption is significantly reduced in everyday use. This is a great relief for people who drive in the city, as that's where the most fuel is consumed. Also, since there is no need to plug in the battery to charge it, there are no worries about charging infrastructure. Why Honda didn't choose a fully electric vehicle? When the question arises as to why Honda didn't choose the path of a fully electric vehicle, the answer is not hidden in a single reason, but in several small realities of the real world. Honda believes that EVs are definitely a part of the future, but currently, EVs are not the perfect solution for every person, every country, and every situation. Honda's perspective is a little more grounded. It doesn't look at what's trending today, but rather at the problems people face in real life. The first and biggest problem is charging. On paper, EVs seem very easy. Charge at home and go. But in reality, charging infrastructure is still incomplete in most parts of the world. Even in large cities, finding charging points can often be difficult, and the situation is even worse in smaller towns or on highways. Honda understands that until charging becomes as easy as filling up at a petrol station, EVs cannot become a reliable option for everyone. Another major problem is charging time. With a petrol or diesel car, it takes 5 minutes and you're back on the road. With an EV, the same task can take half an hour, or sometimes even longer. Not everyone has that much time in their daily lives. Honda believes that a car should adapt to a person's schedule, not the other way around. Battery life is also a crucial issue. It's well known that EV batteries degrade over time. After a few years, their range decreases, and the replacement cost is very high. This is a major concern for the average customer. Honda believes that until battery technology becomes affordable and durable enough for the average person to buy an EV without hesitation, it's not right to force them towards EVs. Then there's the matter of cost. EV cars are still expensive in most markets. Without government subsidies, EVs are often significantly more expensive than petrol or hybrid vehicles. Honda clearly acknowledges that not every customer is willing to pay such a high price, especially in countries where a car is a necessity, not a luxury. Therefore, Honda sees hybrids as a solution that is both affordable and offers the benefits of advanced technology. Another major factor is the varying needs of different countries. Japan, the US, India, Southeast Asia. Each has different roads, weather conditions, traffic patterns, and usage habits. Honda believes that applying a single technology to all markets is not the right approach. Where EVs are viable, Honda will introduce them. But where petrol and hybrids are currently the more sensible option, Honda will offer those. Part of Honda's philosophy is that EVs don't simply mean zero emissions. The resources used in battery manufacturing, mining, and the method of electricity generation, all of these also impact the environment. Honda considers this entire cycle not just the silent operation of the vehicle. This is why they believe that hybrids are a balanced solution for the present time. Less fuel consumption, lower emissions, and no charging anxiety. Most importantly, Honda prioritizes the driver's experience. In EVs, the driving feel often changes, the weight increases, and the feel can seem artificial. Honda believes that many people still want the joy of driving, not just getting from point A to point B. Therefore, before fully committing to EVs, they want to ensure that the true pleasure of driving is not lost. The significance of the Japan launch and global plan. When the Honda Prelude was first launched in Japan, it wasn't a coincidence, nor was it simply a matter of home country advantage. Honda deliberately chose Japan as the first market, because Japan is not just a market for Honda, but a true test of its philosophy, engineering, and identity. Japanese customers don't chase after excessive noise, flashy features, or mere trends. There, people evaluate a car in the context of everyday life, in traffic, on narrow streets, in terms of longevity and reliability. If a car is well received in Japan, it means it has genuine substance, not just clever marketing. Honda knows that launching in Japan is a kind of real-world test. If the technology feels even slightly artificial, if the driving experience isn't natural, or if the car proves tiring in everyday use, people will simply reject it. By launching the Prelude in Japan, Honda wants to see how well its hybrid philosophy fits into real-world conditions. This also demonstrates the company's confidence to first present its product to its most discerning audience, and then to the world. This also provides a clear indication of Honda's global plan. The company isn't saying that the Prelude will be the same in every country, or that a single formula will work for every market. After Japan, Honda is looking towards markets where people are still hesitant about EVs, where charging infrastructure isn't fully developed, but people are certainly concerned about rising fuel prices. In such countries, a hybrid becomes a very natural step. Honda understands that forcing EVs onto every market isn't a sensible approach. Now, this is where the second major significance of the Prelude emerges, that this car isn't just for Honda fans, but a message to the entire industry, especially for companies like Tesla and BYD. Even though both of these companies focus entirely on EVs, a hybrid model like the Prelude becomes noteworthy for them. The reason is very simple, because it targets customers who are not yet fully convinced about EVs. Tesla and BYD's model assumes that the future is entirely electric and that customers will adapt accordingly. But the Honda Prelude shows a contrasting perspective. It says the future will certainly change, but people don't change their needs overnight. The Prelude offers an option to those who want the quietness and efficiency of an EV, but don't want the hassle of charging. This is what makes things a little uncomfortable for EV companies. The threat of the Prelude isn't that it will directly compete with Tesla or BYD's EVs. The real threat is that it breaks the perceived necessity of EVs. Many customers today consider buying an EV because they feel that there is no other option left. The Prelude changes that perception. It shows that you can consume less fuel, have a smooth drive, and benefit from new technology without needing to plug in. Companies like Tesla and BYD are undoubtedly far ahead in technology, but their entire game depends on infrastructure, charging networks, battery supply, and government support. The Honda Prelude doesn't depend on any of this. That becomes its strength. In countries where charging infrastructure is still weak, hybrid models like the Prelude seem more practical. Another thing that makes EV companies think is the driving feel. Many drivers still believe that the driving experience in an EV is somewhat different and sometimes feels very artificial. The Prelude fills that gap. It has the smoothness of electric power and the natural response of a petrol engine. This combination could appeal to those who are still a little hesitant about EVs. Toyota versus Honda. Hybrid versus hybrid. When it comes to hybrid versus hybrid, the real competition isn't between two cars, but between two different philosophies. On one side is Toyota, which has made hybrids a part of everyday life for the average person. On the other side is Honda, which through the Prelude wants to show that hybrids aren't just about fuel efficiency, but that driving pleasure and technology are equally important. Both approaches are different, but both are valid in their own way. The question is, what does the customer want? Toyota has approached hybrids from a very practical perspective. Their entire focus has been on making cars that consume less fuel, are highly reliable, and run for years without any major problems. From the Prius to the Camry and Corolla, Toyota's hybrid cars are designed for people who simply want a car that starts every morning, takes them to the office, brings them back, and doesn't break the bank. Toyota's game is to ensure the driver doesn't have to think too much. Just get in and drive. That's why many people consider Toyota a no-hassle car. The Honda Prelude comes from a completely different school of thought. Honda isn't saying that mileage isn't important, but they also don't believe that a car is just about getting from A to B. With the Prelude, Honda puts the driver at the center. Steering response, acceleration feel, the car's balance on corners, all these things are just as important to Honda as fuel efficiency. The Prelude is for those who want to smile while driving, not just when looking at the fuel gauge. Toyota's hybrid technology is very mature. Years of experience have made it very smooth and reliable, but because of that, it also feels a bit conservative. Toyota doesn't take risks. They only advance technology that has been proven. The Honda Prelude shows a bit of risk, but that risk is what makes it different. Honda hasn't just created a saving machine with its hybrid system, but a system that makes driving feel natural. From the perspective of an average driver, the Toyota hybrid feels quieter and more comfortable. It doesn't give you the feeling that you're driving something special, but it never disappoints either. The Honda Prelude, on the other hand, makes you feel with every drive that this car understands what you want. Instant response when you ask for acceleration, and confidence when you take a corner. This is the difference that doesn't show up on the mileage sheet, but matters a lot in the real world. When it comes to reliability, Toyota's name has become a brand in itself. Many people buy a Toyota without much thought because they know the car won't let them down. Honda is also not far behind in terms of reliability. But with the Prelude, Honda wants to say that along with reliability, emotion is also important. A car can be more than just a tool. It can be an experience. In terms of technology, both have different approaches. Toyota keeps technology in the background. The driver hardly notices what's going on under the hood. In the Honda Prelude, technology supports driving, but doesn't overpower it. The system itself decides when the engine is needed and when the motor is needed, so that the driver gets the right power without any hassle. Ultimately, this comparison boils down to the question, what do you want from a car? If your answer is low running costs, high reliability, and a car that just works, then Toyota's hybrid will suit you better. But if you want driving to be a little exciting, to make you feel like a driver, not just a passenger, then the Honda Prelude will attract you. Therefore, it would be wrong to say that one is right and the other is wrong. In reality, both Toyota and Honda are taking hybrids in different directions. Toyota wants to remain the king of mileage and reliability, while Honda through the Prelude wants to show that the future of hybrids is not just about savings, but also about fun. If you like videos about such cars, subscribe to the channel now. Here we explain every major move in the auto industry, with honesty and without any hype or promotions. Don't forget to press the bell icon.